The fibers of this component arise from the two nucleus of the facial nerve. One is the superior salivatory nucleus and the second is the lacrimotory nucleus. Both nucleus are present in the pons. Now, from the superior salivatory nucleus, the fibers release and they are connected with, relate to the ganglion, that is the submandibular ganglion. It is a peripheral parasympathetic ganglion. And from this ganglion, postganglionic fibers arise and they supply the salivary gland, that is the submandibular and the sublingual salivary gland. Means this nucleus is related with this ganglion and controls the secretion of the submandibular and the sublingual salivary gland. Now the second nucleus, that is the lacrimotory nucleus, also situated in the pons close to this nucleus. This nucleus is related with the, or its fiber relate to a peripheral parasympathetic ganglion, that is the pterygopalatine ganglion, situated in the pterygopalatine fossa. And from this ganglion, postganglionic fibers arise and they supply these structures. This is the lacrimal gland, glands for the soft palate and the glands of the nasal cavity. So this facial nerve is related with the two ganglion. It is the submandibular ganglion and the pterygopalatine ganglion. Now the third component. The third component, it is the spatial visceral afferent. This name afferent indicates it is the sensitive fibers. Spatial visceral afferent fibers. These fibers carry the taste sensation. Taste sensation from the entire 2/3 of the tongue except the circumvallate papilla, and this carry the taste sensation from the soft palate. And these fibers are related to the nucleus that is known as the nucleus tractus solitarius. Nucleus tractus solitarius. The ascending fibers ultimately relate to this nucleus tractus solitarius. Now the fourth component, that is the general somatic afferent. General somatic afferent. These fibers carry the general sensation. General sensation like the touch, pain, temperature. Touch, pain, temperature from the concha of the auricle. And retroauricular skin. Retroauricular skin. Basically, the sensation from these two regions are carried by a branch of the vagus nerve that is known as the auricular branch. Auricular branch of the vagus nerve. And in the facial canal, the vagus nerve is communicated with the facial nerve, and these fibers are ultimately transmitted to the facial nerve. And from the facial nerve, these fibers are relayed to the nucleus of the trigeminal nerve, that is the spinal nucleus of fifth cranial nerve. Means the fibers are carried by the auricular branch of the vagus nerve, of the skin of the concha of the auricle and the retroauricular skin. It is handed over to the branch of the facial nerve, and ultimately it relates to the spinal nucleus of the fifth cranial nerve, that is the trigeminal nerve. So it has the four components: spatial visceral afferent, general visceral afferent, special visceral afferent and the general somatic afferent fibers. We discuss the cause in the short. This facial nerve arises by the two roots, motor root and the sensory root. These two roots are attached to the lower border of the pons, that is known as the pontomedullary junction. Pontomedullary junction. It is attached by the two roots at this junction. Now, the position of the junction: first, it is the motor root, then it is the sensory root, and then it is the eighth cranial nerve. At this junction, from medial to lateral, the motor root is most medial, while the sensory root is between the motor root and the vestibulocochlear nerve. Now, from the course, this facial nerve runs forward and laterally, and they cross the cerebellopontine angle. Then it enters into the petrous temporal bone through an opening, that is the internal acoustic meatus. This nerve enters into the petrous part of the temporal bone along with the eighth cranial nerve, that is the vestibulocochlear nerve also enters, and it is the labyrinthine vessels. It also enters through this internal acoustic meatus. In the internal acoustic meatus, we see this motor root is present, rests on the groove of this vestibulocochlear nerve, and between the motor root and the vestibulocochlear nerve there is the sensory root, that is the nervus intermedius. Nervus intermedius is sandwiched between the motor root of this facial nerve as well as the vestibulocochlear nerve, and in this meatus it is present the labyrinthine vessels. Now, at the lateral end of the meatus, these two roots, motor and the sensory root, unite to form the common trunk, single trunk, that is the facial nerve. Now this facial nerve enters into the facial canal. This facial canal is related with the middle ear. And this facial canal is divided into the three parts. It is the first part, that is the known as the labyrinthine part, and its direction is the oblique part. Then it turns sharply behind and forms the second part, enters the second part of the facial canal, that is known as the tympanic part, and its direction is horizontal. And these two parts, labyrinthine as well as the tympanic parts, is related with the medial wall of middle ear. Medial wall of the middle ear. Now, there is a vertical part. That vertical part is known as the mastoid part. It is the third part of the facial canal, and it is the vertical. So, this facial nerve, labyrinthine, tympanic, and the mastoid part. Now, at the junction of the first and the second part, there is a sharp bending of the facial nerve, and this bending is known as the external genuine. It is the bending present at the junction of the first and the second part of the facial canal, and here the nerve is slightly thickened, and this is known as the geniculate ganglion. This thickened part of the facial nerve, it is the geniculate ganglion, and this geniculate ganglion contains, it is a sensory ganglion. It is a sensory ganglion. Now, this facial nerve comes out from the facial canal through a foramen. We have learned that is the stylomastoid foramen. This nerve comes out and it runs lateral to the styloid process, and then through the costo-medial surface of the parotid gland it enters into the parotid gland and divides into the 5 terminal branches. So it is the course of the facial nerve. Internal caustic matters to the facial canal. This is the intracranial and the intrapetrous part of the facial nerve, and it comes out from the stylomastoid foramen. This is the extracranial part, and then it enters the parotid gland and divides into the 5 terminal branches. And the important point is the external genu. It is present the geniculate ganglion, which is a sensory ganglion. Thank you.